name is Golan Youssef. I'm the CSO and co-founder of Pint. Been doing security for most of my career. With me is Urimas, who's a special matter expert. Urimas,
Yeah,
please present yourself.
yeah. I'm in cybersecurity also around the decade. Before I went to cybersecurity, as you can see on screen, I spent a couple years of volunteering in Africa and Denmark. Fun fact: I'm tech savvy, and me and my father we went 3 a.m. in the morning for the CD because at that time there was almost no internet. So and yeah, one of my passions is FPS gaming. So yeah.
Excellent. Uh, so today, as we said, we're going to talk about the DORA. DORA is a Digital Operation Resiliency Act. Uh, Umas, can you tell us a bit about it? What it's for, what it's aiming to do? Like,
Yes. Yes, significance of DORA is that it's a law which applies across whole European Union within the financial sector, and it also applies for service providers who are providing different ICT services to those sectors. So if you are within EU and you within financial sector, it definitely applies to you. If you are outside EU or within the EU, but you are supplying ICT services, so you provide IT infrastructure, SaaS, IaaS, or maybe you are developing software for those organizations, you are also falling under DORA.
that's great. By the way, if anyone has question during our session, please feel free to send us messages. We are on it. We read it and we'll answer it in live. So saying we must not just financial organization, but also service providers. I guess it won't apply to any service provider, right? You need to be.
Yeah, so you have to be recognized as a critical service provider. For instance, Microsoft, AWS, they have many clients and they are falling under the service provider list. European Union authorities are creating this list, and this list is not complete. So, if you are a service provider and you are falling into that list, you definitely have to comply with DORA. Then you might be asked to comply with DORA through the third party. You might be a third party or supplier, with the services, and the customer might ask you to include certain clauses within the contract. So you take care of the resilience and you pen test and you do secure coding. So they are also compliant. So list by European Union authority is going to be complete. But if you been asked by the customer, which to whom you provide services, and he is under DORA, you most likely are going to be also falling in that category.
So companies should be ready to be required by the customer to be compliant to law, right?
Yes,
It's, this is like delegated thing.
yes, and it also applies. I just want to make sure it's clear. It also applies for organizations who are not within the EU.
Mhm.
And when you sign a contract with the organization which is in EU and DORA applies for them, in the contract clauses you have to include that you're going to allow auditor to audit you when the need comes.
Got it. Which leads me to the next question. Who will be the auditors for that?
Yes, so auditors are appointed by European Union, and auditors are two types of auditors. One type of auditors, they will be auditing organizations who are under DORA. And another type of auditors will be auditing ICT service providers.
Got it. And can you speak like boldly about what the purpose, what's the reason behind it?
Yeah, DORA. When you think about DORA, right, it sounds like someone's name, but it's Digital Operation Resilience Act. If you dissect it word by word, it's digital operations resilience, right? So in financial services, it's really important because our money are now in ones and zeros. It's somewhere, in someone's database, in someone's application, and therefore European Union are making, effort releasing this law. So everything related with your ICT, so it's your IT infrastructure, your communication systems, must be resilient to withstand certain cyber attacks. You must take care of that resiliency. There is a lot of practices which we will go later, a little bit deeper. But basically, you have to be resilient to cyber threats. You must know your risks. You must understand what kind of environment you're running, what are your third parties, and therefore you must do homework.
That's saying that we don't like homework, but thing that must be made.
Yeah,
Uh, Yeah. So this like framework like give us a unified something that all organizations, all the relevant organizations that we just mentioned need to comply with, right? So we got something that we know what to expect. Same requirements are applied to all companies depending on the size. We go into it, right?
yeah, yeah.
and and that give them enhanced resiliency and actually help them adopt new technologies, right?
Correct. Correct. We will go probably to the next slide.
Let's do that.
Yes, correct. So these are not the only, but these are the main aspects. So first, let's say if you are running application security, first of all, the highest management is accountable, but they are not gonna do the technical part for you as application security people, right? You have to do it for yourself. So first of all, if you want to identify your risks, you must know what you have. So inevitably, you're gonna come up to the asset list. You're gonna collect, what kind of infrastructure you're running, what kind of servers you have, operating systems, software licenses, in some cases third parties as well. If you use any third party APIs, you must include those as well. Then you must classify based on your business needs. Okay, because you can't do everything. If you are a small company, maybe you have few assets, it's easy to prioritize. But if you are a huge organization, you have to classify according to, okay, how critical the system is. If it goes down, what kind of impact we are going to have. And while you're doing the risk assessment, I would recommend for more technical people, especially in application security, to do the threat modeling to see what kind of attacks you might get within your ICT environment. So it's tampering, spoofing, DDoS attack, escalation of privileges. You can write down what kind of vulnerabilities you're going to have, what is the likelihood and impact if that happens, and based on that you rate you do your risk assessment within the application security,
Mhm.
and you prioritize steps. What are you going to do in order to mitigate those risks? So you're gonna do, let's say you want to make clean code, right? So you're gonna do static or dynamic analysis. You're going to do peer review. So you make sure that the code which you create is less vulnerable to attacks. Then DevOps practices, right? If you are using CI/CD to deploy your code, your infrastructure, you make sure that this is also taken care. You make sure that your infrastructure is also configured according to the best standards. You can look for NIST and CIS publications to give you more details. And yeah, you do the whole risk management, because ICT risk management is not also on paper. This also includes the procedures you describe, protocols and tools that you use. Vulnerability management, for instance, it's also part of the risk management. You must scan your application before and after deployment. Of course, some A B testers might disagree, but that's what you do. And of course, we will go deeper probably later, but of course, there are way more steps related to that.
Yeah, of course. And we want actually all that we do as Appsec, as security people, is managing risk, right? So it makes sense that this is like a big thing. But another thing that I want to briefly discuss is the incident reporting, which is not like we see in other cases, right?
Yeah, yes. So, starting a slide from the beginning, and if I'm going too far, please let me know.
That's fine.
First, to report incident, you must have two things. You have to have tool which collects data and can, alert you, and you must have people. So that's first prerequisite to be able to report incident. If you have those two, you are obliged to report only one type of incidents, which is major incident. So major incident might be something that happened which caused you to go your environment to go down. So you have to do the communication, explain to your customers, explain to your to the press media what's happened, or you lost data and it was exposed. This is another major incident. So these kind of incidents which jeopardizes your uh, uh, CIA triage, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, you must report to the authorities. Another one significant, which is on voluntary basis, maybe you have suffered huge DDoS attack, but it didn't went through, so you just bounced it. But if you willing, you can still report, so others can learn also from this experience. And each country has their own official website, which provides you templates what you have to fill in order to report incident, what kind of details are needed. Uh, I saw at least in Lithuania it's in English, but maybe some other countries they do it their own language. And yeah, so you can download the template.
And one thing that like interesting for me is the information share, right? So those incidents are being shared across the entire sector. So each organization can learn from incident that occur to others, right?
I can't deny or verify this information. Currently, many things are still in progress. But what they do, they definitely going to do the analysis, and I think they will release certain reporting, which will help organizations in the future.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, question to the audience, and please write that down in the comments. We'll go after it later. What step your organization have taken in regards to DORA? Did you start looking at it? Did you start implementing it? Which which of the pillars did you handle? How did you handle it? Super interesting for us. What are the challenges that you see? Please write us, and we'll address it later on. So, as we said, we have like different requirements, right, for the different pillars, but those requirements are not the same for all organizations, right?
Yes, and the interesting thing with DORA, and this is why personally for me it's very complex, because you have Article 4.2, which tells you must do it according your risk and organization size. So that's and this is being mentioned in many different articles within DORA. Mm, so you don't have to read 70 pages and come up with those conclusions. So Basically, smaller you are, less requirements you are put on, but you still have to do some homework. You still have to do ICT risk management, and if you are micro organization, you have to have basic framework. You might not need to have a person who is responsible separately for risk management, but you still, as a small organization, have to do the assessment. And yeah, if you are not developing in indoor applications, so you might skip Appsec integration. You just
Just a
require.
quick question. When we say micro, small, medium, and large, can
Mhm.
you put numbers on it?
Yes, I was looking at the numbers while I was reading DORA myself, and let's say like this: micro enterprise is something up to 10 people. Small organization is up to 50, medium is up to 500, and largest from that point. But on different sources, you might get different numbers. So
Mhm.
best thing is, if you are how to say, if you don't know exactly, you need to consult with someone within your country who knows local laws and can bring you more those definitions. But in the nutshell, smaller you are, less strict the requirements are. And for instance, Appsec integration in secure development lifecycle, which is not the secure development itself, but this, as I mentioned before, is more DevOps practices, secure configurations, security baselines, security audits, and other things. So microorganizations, if they don't do homebrew application, they are not obliged to meet all those requirements.
Mhm.
Or if they do, those are very mild. So maybe, vulnerability scan, uh, penetration testing, if you do it once in a while, but is not as required as for other organization. You have to prove annually that you did penetration testing. You have to prove that you do the scanning, and yeah, requirements are way less strict. Vulnerability assessment, briefly mentioned that. Penetration testing, it's really expensive thing if you are a small organization. And yeah, in many cases you can go with vulnerability management. But if your application is generating huge revenue, and in those days, let's say we have very small number of people working in the organization, but everything else is automated, you might be asked by the authorities to do those things. And I think many things will come up and will shift slightly after first audit is going to be conducted. We're going to learn a lot from that, I think. And yeah, for larger organizations, you have to do it annually, especially threat-led penetration testing.
Mhm.
Uh,
Which
this
is a
is
new concept, right? New entirely concept. This is a.
Yes, this is very new concept, and this is something that not many companies done before. I will be proud we did it in my organization, but this is something that you put red team versus blue team. Let's say like this: you use your critical application production environment, not the test environment, not the pre-production environment. You run your production environment, you do the testing, you must write the report, you from both sides. So write one report from pen tester, you want write one report from the blue team. Then you combine the report, you have to send to authorities with all the flaws you found, and also with the plan how you're going to fix them. Another important detail with threat-led penetration testing, maybe some bigger organizations have their own penetration testers. According to DORA, you have to have unbiased penetration testers. So in most cases, there's going to be someone external who has to do that for you. And there is a publication which is called Cyber Review. If you want to plan everything in details, it provides you a project plan approach, how you can do that, all the criteria, what you can request from penetration testers, how you should conduct a project. But this is really big. You have to do it at least once every 3 years, and this is mandatory for large organizations.
I got it. And the scope for this is not just application, right? It's the entire organization, it's the people, the processes. It
Yeah,
can last for like 3 months, 3 4 months, right? It's not a few days as we do usual pen test.
yeah, and you have to include, if you're doing it, if let's say you're not hosting it yourself, you have to do it with ICT provider. They also have to be involved because they also have to watch certain metrics, how it affects their platform, and yeah, oh,
So
this is
your
all combination.
so your providers, your infrastructure, actually, the stuff that you use is also part of this pen test.
Correct. And this is one of the requirements that you have to include into contractual clauses while negotiating your deal with ICT service provider.
So something that we need to plan really ahead of time before starting to.
Yes, it's for me. It looks like, it's gonna raise costs from ICT service providers slightly because there are extra actions you have to take. So you have to be present in those resilience testings. You have to, which is time. You have to add additional clauses into the contract where you're obliged to follow those requirements. You have to do the tabletop exercises. You have to do the resilience test, which is uh, part of the BAA. You also have to make sure that if power goes down, how you switch to another power source. If you are under DDoS attack, how you switch to another data center, and etc. So all those things has to be ensured also by the ICT. For Microsoft, AWS, Google, I think they are probably good with that, but the smaller ones, they really gonna feel it.
Yeah, got it. So what are the main differences if we compare DORA requirements? I mean, most organizations probably won't be doing the first compliance with the DORA. We'll probably have something else. So we don't have much time left, but let's try to go over it quickly and see what
Mhm.
are main
Yeah.
differences.
First main thing, SOC 2 is voluntary framework, and DORA is mandatory EU regulation, right? As with SOC 2, is very similar with ISO 27001. You go through clauses, you decide the way you want to ensure the controls. As with DORA, it tells you what to do. It tells you what controls you must have. The only difference is you can pick the tool, you can pick the team. It's in your, but in general, in DORA, controls are not negotiable unless you are smaller. Then you might get some exclusions, and if you don't comply with SOC 2, it's not enforced. Maybe you might lose certain clients, because they don't see the SOC 2 type 2 report, and they have no trust. But with the DORA, it's enforced, and you're gonna have annual audits, which gonna be performed. And yeah, and if we see another difference, accountability, which is coming from accountability, DORA is more, emphasizing accountability from the board perspective, from the highest leadership. As for SOC 2, it puts a little bit more pressure on the middle management. Yeah.
Got it. But we can say that a lot of once you chose to take actions for those SOC 2 clauses, that many of those things are helping you to handle
It's-
DORA as well.
yeah, certainly. If you have SOC 2, to add missing pieces, it's gonna be way, way, way easier
Mhm.
than you have to start from zero.
Got it. Okay, so if we summarize what we learned so far, and there is a lot to learn here. It was we ran out of time, so we're trying to push things fast. But we still tried to cover most of the things. I think the main issues are that there is no one thing that's required by all organizations. It really depends on the organization size. Um, Appsec team should step in and do the all the resilience testing, help with that, help with the infrastructure, help with the inventories management, um, and other closing notes.
Yeah, DORA is really good thing that happened because we're going into digital age and we keep our money, as I mentioned, in ones and zeros. In old times, you have to rob a bank with the horse and the pistol. Now you just have to sit by the laptop in the coffee shop and you can do it. I think that's the best thing could happen. Yes, it will bring slightly increase in cost because more activities you have to do, more people you have to hire, but in the long run, this is going to make a financial sector more resilient and more trustworthy.
Got it. Okay, so thank you very much, Ritmas. Thank you very much all for joining us. Feel free to contact us if you want to have more questions. We'll both be available to you. You have a link to our DORA guide here if you want more information. Again, feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. And feel free to use Pine to help you for your resilience testing. Um, Thank you very much, Onyas.
Thank you.
Pleasure presenting with you. And until next time.
See ya.